Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today's reading I wanted to be all about who are your greatest supporters. Because a lot of the times we might be going through certain things and we think that we can't rely on certain people because maybe we've put fears in our heads that they would judge you for this thought or this action, or they wouldn't support what you're doing, or they would think that this is lame, or they'd make fun of you for it, when in all actuality, there could be a lot of people around you that are just waiting to genuinely support you, but it's your own mind that tells you, like, don't reach out to them or don't make everything about yourself. And I wanted to bring to your attention with this reading who is around you that would be willing to let you rest your head on their shoulder, would be willing to like hear what you're going through, or who would be willing to like help support you to reach your goals. Because I wanted to show you who are the people around you that unconditionally love you and just want to see you be successful, just want to see you be happy. That is what I'm trying to get to come forward through this reading. So for some of you, this might come through as friends that you thought like, oh, they're just too busy with their own life to, take the time out of the day to support me. In all actuality, maybe those friends are just waiting for the call. Maybe they've seen you struggling, but they haven't really spoken up because maybe they think that what you're going through is private. Or maybe it's family members who you thought, oh, they would never support what I'm doing. They'll judge me for it, or they won't accept me for this. When in all actuality, they love you so unconditionally. They just want to hear the truth about you. They just want to be there to support you. Or maybe if there's nobody currently on this plane that would be able to openly support you, maybe the message that comes through is from your spirit guides to let you know, even if there is nobody currently in the 3D that is there to support you, we are here to support you and we will guide you to those groups of people that you are meant to be with. And so that's what I'm aiming to do with this reading today. So today I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. Excuse my voice, I feel like I've got like a frog in my throat right now. I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. With pile 1, we have the blue lace agate. With pile 2, we have the hematite. And with pile 3, we have the tiger's eye? Is that what that's called? Tiger's eye? That sounds right. Yeah, that's like one of the most common stones. I don't know why it's like sounding weird to me right now. But anyways, go ahead and pause, figure out which reading you feel most drawn to. I'll leave timestamps down in the description box so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, pile 1. If you chose the blue lace agate, then this is the reading for you. And the cards that we have here today, the way that we're doing this is the 2 tarot cards on top are who are the people that will most support you, who are your biggest supporters. And these cards to me are supposed to be like identifiable features so that you'll kind of recognize and be like, oh yeah, I recognize that feature, this sounds like this person. And these cards down here are kind of like supporting that, but slightly different. So I'll explain it to you as we go. But off the bat, the first 2 that I'm getting very strongly, with the 2 of Pentacles, I'm thinking like this is like either a younger male or somebody your age. Specifically, it has like brother energy. But if you don't have a brother, it could be like a male friend that's around you, or maybe like a male cousin, or like even like a coworker, but somebody that you're pretty tight with, somebody that you would view as a brother, even if they're not necessarily your biological brother. They just kind of have that like that brother energy, like that kind of unserious but like helpful and like would help you out in any situation, would lend you a helping hand, but like maybe not somebody that you have super deep emotional talks with all the time. And with the 2 of Pentacles, him kind of looking back and forth, I think that this is also somebody that's maybe in a stage in their life where they're really trying to figure out their own life, and maybe they come to you with like advice like, hey, could you help me out? Like I can't decide which apartment to rent out, for example. Like this is somebody that maybe comes to you for advice because they look up to you. And I could see you not really seeing them as somebody who would be super supportive, not in that they wouldn't want to support you, but maybe you see like, oh, they're younger, they're still going through their own stuff, they don't really have time for me. In all actuality, I think that this person, whether they've said it to you or not, really feels indebted to you because of the ways that you've been able to help them, how you've been able to help them through tough times, how you've been the person that they could look up to and emulate and say like, you've actually been a role model to me, and they would love to help and support you. And I think with the intuition card, something that they would tell you is follow your gut, because I think that they think you have a really strong, I guess intuition is the best word that I could say. They've watched you, and the way that you guide them is really based on like what feels right to you and like the knowledge base that you've accumulated over time. So when you make decisions, it really seems like you're going off of this knowledge that you've built up over time, this wisdom that you have, and also like a level of intuition. And it all mixes together so well that like when you're helping them out or when they see you in that flow state, like following that wisdom and that intuition, they try to emulate that. They try to have that energy and that like decisive decision making. Whether to you maybe you're like, it's not decisive at all, like there's a lot of thought that goes behind it and like I'm constantly second guessing, but to them all they see is like you being on the right path, you making the right decisions, and you making decisions that they think are smart. And so I feel like if this person had to give you advice, is like, go with your gut, go with what feels right to you. Actually trust in your wisdom because you have a lot of it. Maybe to you it doesn't seem like you have a lot of it, or maybe to you you think, oh, I don't have the best intuition. But from the outside perspective, they truly believe in your wisdom. They believe in your intuition. They look up to you. They think that you've got a good head on your shoulders, and they want you to see it too. Because all it takes is you having confidence in your own decision making and then making the decision that's going to help you be successful. And so I think a piece of advice that they would give you is don't overthink or underestimate your own talents or abilities or your wisdom or your knowledge or your intuition. Don't underestimate it. Really be in tune with it, because you constantly second guessing yourself is really just hindering you being able to take steps forward. Because once you can be in alignment with it, the wisdom and intuition is already very strong. Your abilities are already very strong. It just requires you to trust them the way that they trust you. And the next person that I see here, who's your biggest supporter, you have strength reversed. And for some reason, this really makes me think of like a mother, like mother energy, but also a mom who seems like very busy. Like she was always trying to make ends meet. Like she was always running around, like trying to accomplish things or constantly working on things. And whenever you saw her, she always seemed like she was exhausted or like she had just worked really hard and didn't really have a lot of time to talk to. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Amazing movie. But in the beginning scene, I think you see the daughter is like trying to ask the mom a question. Oh, thinking about this movie makes me want to cry. It's such a good movie. The daughter is like trying to ask the mom a question. The mom is just racing around. She's trying to like take care of taxes. She's trying to cook. She's trying to take care of the laundromat downstairs. And she's so busy that the daughter just can't really get a hold of her. And because of that, the daughter thinks like the mom just doesn't care about me. Mom just doesn't love me. But later into the movie, you see like the entire movie is based around their connection. And eventually the mom she really tells the daughter how much she loves her, how much she means to her. And they make amends. But I'm just getting the energy of that beginning part where it just seems like she's so busy. She's so focusing on all these other things. She doesn't have time to support me. She doesn't have time to focus on me. And that's where I think that you feel when you look at her, you're like, I'm not going to tell her about these stupid issues I'm going through. Like, it's so trivial in comparison to everything that she has to worry about. And maybe she might brush things off because she's like, yeah, I'm busy. I don't have time for this. But really deep down, she does support you. She wants to connect with you. She wants to see you be happy. She wants to see you be successful. I think everything that she's ever done, all this hard work that she's put out is to give you the ability to be successful. But I think connecting on like an emotional level isn't as easy. Or if there's trivial or quote unquote trivial things in her mind that are like, you can figure it out yourself. It's her own way of just being like, you gotta keep moving. You gotta keep pushing. The card that came out with her card is the movement card, and it's like, if you have an obstacle, you just need to push, you need to get over it. Like, for her, it's all about you cannot let yourself become stuck on certain things. That would be her advice to you, is if you want to accomplish something and something gets in your way, staring at it and moping about it is not going to get you over that bump. You just got to kick your way through, you got to punch your way through, you got to keep moving. You have to find different ways around it. You know, sometimes that's not really what we want to hear about, like, emotional issues, but she's just going off of the knowledge and understanding that she has. You know, maybe she didn't have parents that were extremely emotionally intelligent. Maybe she doesn't fully understand how to tackle these issues. And so the best that she can give you is keep moving, keep putting one foot in front of the other. Don't let things stop you. But I really want you to know that deep down, I see this pure, supportive love from her, that she just wants to see you succeed. But the way that that translates is not the greatest. like, okay, from the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once, the mom, there's this one scene where the mom can see the daughter is really upset, but since she doesn't quite know how to word what she wants to say, she doesn't know how to give her the proper advice, all she says is, you need to lose some weight. And it's like just this like awkward, like, oh my god, why would you say that? But you can see like she's struggling, she doesn't know what to properly say, and it just ends up pushing the daughter away further. And so what I want you to hear from a child perspective to a mother, she's got a lot going on. She doesn't know how to deal with the things that you're dealing with, but deep down she really does want to support you. And you do have her support, even if it doesn't sometimes seem like it. Yeah, I just feel like you needed to hear that, because the way that she comes off, the way that she acts, is not indicative of how much love that she has for you. And there's a really important difference there. Even if you can't always see it, it's definitely there. And even if the 3D version of your mom can't be there for you, I want you to know that her higher self is one of the guides that's guiding you. And I know from like a human perspective that's kind of hard to understand or hard to make sense of, but from my perspective, I believe that we all have souls, and our spirit guides aren't necessarily like people that are not incarnated here. Sometimes it's the people that are here with us, but it's a higher version of themselves that's also guiding us. So it's kind of an interesting perspective to look at it, whether you believe in it or not. The possibility that even if your mom, the human version of her right here, isn't able to support you, her soul is supporting you. Maybe that helps you somehow. So the final card that we have here is number 8, Big Accomplishments, and it's got a sea turtle on it, so maybe that's like a spirit animal for you, maybe that's an important animal for you. Same with the number 8. Okay. Number 8, Small Steps, Big Accomplishments. Sea turtles migrate thousands of miles each year while swimming at a slow, methodical pace. The key medicine is that what you wish to manifest will take dedicated, consistent, and patient effort. Land Turtle reinforces this message about the slow process towards your desire, further speaking to us about how grounded this point of view is. Nothing represents being grounded quite like the Land Turtle, built sturdy and close to Mother Earth. Small, consistent efforts will lead to long-lasting success. Be patient. Do not rush for immediate rewards. Understand that immediate gratification cannot sustain what is needed for long-term success. Shortcuts yield short-term success, and instant gratification is for the weak mind. Sea Turtle is not instantly born in the sea swimming towards his goal. He must first build his muscles by slowly breaking out of the shell and journeying towards his desire to be in the great sea. Allow things to develop at their own pace, and plan for a lengthy dedication towards your goal. This is a very promising card, and it speaks to happy results. You are building something great, and its full fruition needs time. Turtle's medicine shares that slow and steady efforts are of the most importance to you. Something powerful is in development. What is built slowly stands longer. I forgot to say before reading that this message is supposed to be from these supporters, from their highest self. And so, even if you feel like your brother or your friend, whoever this Two of Pentacles character is, even if you feel like they're not as articulate as they could say something like this, or if they try to give you advice, it comes out jumbled, or like they're distracted or whatever, or, if your mom can't give you the proper advice because she's like, just keep moving, just keep going, like eventually you'll get there. This message is how I imagine the translation from their highest self. And to me, it sounds like you have a long road ahead of you, but there is a certain life that you really want to manifest. There's a certain goal or a certain aspiration that you really want to create in this lifetime and be successful at. And their advice to you is you can, but you can't get it immediately. It's not going to happen immediately. It's something that takes dedication and hard work and long hours, and when you get knocked down, being able to get back up and keep going. And the ability to follow your intuition, even if current circumstances seem like they're not leading you in the right direction. Having faith that the end goal, you will get to it. You need to have that mix of intuitive faith that you are going in the right direction and the constant movement. And I think when you put these pieces of advice from them together, it's going to lead you to your goals. But also remember, with the sea turtle example, they break out of that shell, and from our perspective, it's just sand. But a footprint in the sand to us is like a mountain to them. It's like a crater that they need to cross. Doing so across what to us is like maybe a few feet, to them is like miles and miles of hot sand with the possibility of seagulls coming down on them. But they still do it anyway, slowly but surely. And it's that effort of just putting one foot in front of the other that gets them to the sea. And for you, it's the same. It might seem scary. It might seem like you have mountains in front of you. It might seem like what you want is miles and miles away, and it's hot and it's scary. There's failure around each corner. But as long as you're putting one foot in front of the other, as long as you are just tunnel visioning in on what you want and believing intuitively that you're going in the right direction, you will get there. Like sea turtles, maybe they can't even see the ocean in front of them, but intuitively they can hear the sounds. I don't know, maybe they use the magnetic field. I don't know how it works. Some instinct in them tells them that they're going in the right direction, and eventually they get there. So I'll leave you with that. Pile 1, that is everything that I have for you. I truly wish you the best on whatever journey that you're on right now. I know that you can accomplish it as long as you put your mind to it and you continue to persevere. But I hope that this reading helped you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, Pile 2. If you chose the hematite, then this is the reading for you. I just got like a bunch of different things coming to mind right as I was about to start your reading, and I'm like, where do I go from this? Like, I'm trying to organize all the thoughts in my brain. But the way that we're doing this is the tarot cards up here are who are your biggest supporters. And then underneath that, it's like a piece of advice from those supporters. And then in the middle, it's like a piece of advice, but from their highest self. And for that one, I'm going to be reading from the guidebook. But the energy that I'm getting from your reading is actually that this is not two separate supporters. It's that it's one supporter and like the different sides of them and why they support you. It kind of has like parent energy, like maybe a dad or a mom, but it doesn't need to be a parent necessarily, but somebody who's older than you, who's taken on that kind of parental guidance role. It has a masculine energy, but it doesn't have to be a man. The vibe that I'm getting from this person is they want to see you succeed because they themselves did not get to succeed. I think for them, I'm going to give you an example, and this doesn't have to be your situation. Obviously, I think this is not going to be your situation for the majority of you, but it's like a good analogy. I'm imagining like a mom who really wanted to become a superstar. Like it's all that she wanted, and then she got pregnant at like 16. And she wasn't able to pursue that goal. And so she had this kid, and she loved the kid. She was like, yeah, I'm choosing this kid over that dream because it's who I want to raise. And she loved you unconditionally. And she never pushed goals onto you for her own benefit or because she wanted to live vicariously through you. But she sees that you have within you this desire to, maybe you wanted to be famous too. Maybe you wanted to do what she wanted to do. And she wants to push you to succeed because she knows what it's like to not succeed. She knows what it's like to give up on that dream, and she never wants to see you give up on that dream. And so it's not pushing you to do something because it's like, it's my wish, and since I never got to fulfill it, I'm forcing you to do it. It's like this person saw you have this desire within you to accomplish this thing that they themselves wanted to but gave up on. The thing that was stumping me in the beginning is I just got this, I don't know if you call them downloads or like intuitive hits or whatever, but there's this book, The Alchemist. I talk about it all the time. It's a really good book. I actually don't know how much use it has here, but I highly recommend you to read it. It's about following one's purpose in life. And at the very end, the main character, Santiago, he's trying to like find this treasure. And at the very end, he meets a person who didn't follow that desire to follow that treasure, and they became like very bitter or whatever, and there was just this dichotomy. I don't know why I'm bringing it up. It actually doesn't make a ton of sense, but maybe you needed to be recommended that book, so that's why it's come up. But what I see from this supporter is this is somebody that loves and cares about you, and they see the strength within you, and they really know intuitively you have what it takes to be successful at what you want to do. And the reason that they support you so strongly is because they failed for some reason. They weren't able to accomplish it. Like, imagine they were like a track star and broke their leg and didn't get to go on to be a professional athlete. But they see you have the athleticism in your DNA, and they also see that you have a desire to do it as well, and so they want to be there to coach you. I really see this person as like being like a coach mentality, because the Magician card is all about, we have all the tools that we need in front of us. We just need to be willing to put in action. And once we put in action, we are the missing puzzle piece that creates whatever we want. All the tools are already there for us. It just requires action from you. And that's what they're trying to tell you is, if you want this thing, don't be like me. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on that hunger that you feel in your heart. Because you have the hunger card. This is something that you really want. This is something that your heart wants. It's something that your soul wants. It's something that you were made to accomplish. This is something that you're passionate about. It's something that you care about creating and manifesting in this world. And if you turn your back on that hunger, if you turn your back on your heart, there's another part of The Alchemist that talks about what happens when you do that. I highly recommend that book. I think that's something that this pile really needs to hear about, is what happens when we don't listen to our heart, when we don't follow it. Eventually, that voice gets quieter and quieter until it goes away altogether, and then we never feel that hunger again. We never feel what could have happened if we were to follow that dream. And so, I think one of the pieces of advice from this person is this kind of warning of, if you don't let yourself follow that hunger, if you don't let yourself follow your heart to the end goal, if you give up prematurely because of fears or because a little speed bump got in your way or a failure got in your way, you are going to regret it for the rest of your life, just like I regretted it. That's what that person would tell you. And with the Magician card and the Cleanse card, I think that they would give you this piece of advice to cleanse your mind of any fears or negativity or any reasons why you can't do it. Because, and this is something that I talk about in a lot of readings, that fear that we feel and that voice in our head that tells us that we cannot accomplish it or that we're going to fail, that is our ego trying to protect us. Your ego is trying to protect you from failure because it thinks you're going to get judged or you're going to get hurt or you're going to feel embarrassed. But you need to cleanse your mind of that side of yourself and say, like, thank you for trying to protect me, but I don't need you here with me. I'm fully capable of taking on this fear. I'm fully capable of taking on the prospect of possibly failing because I want to take on the ability to possibly succeed. And you need to really cleanse yourself of those negative mindsets and get your mind fixated on, if this is where you want to go, if this is what you want to do, you need to be fully in it. You can't have one foot out the door. You can't be ready to back out at any moment because it requires you to be fully in it. You have the Magician card. This card is all about you are the missing puzzle piece. All the tools are there already. The path is laid out already. But if you're not willing to stay on the path, if you're not willing to put one foot in front of the other and accomplish it, I mean, you're the missing puzzle piece. Without you, it's not going to happen. It requires you to have a clear mindset and a vision of where you want to go and be dedicated and disciplined to go where you want to go. Another analogy that's kind of coming to mind is maybe this person really wanted to be like very rich, really wanted to have their own business, but they got scared and they decided to stay in the same job for their entire life. And they're constantly like looking at the news of the next new millionaire that just made it big, and they're thinking, that could have been me if only I just kept persevering, if only I just kept trying at that idea that I had. And they see within you, like maybe you're a natural entrepreneur, maybe you're somebody that has that natural knack and talent and dedication to go after what you want to create, and that kind of smart like intelligence of how to properly create a business, how to be the best entrepreneur possible. They see all of that within you, and they want to guide you to going with your full potential, not ending up like them where you're stuck in a job that you hate for the rest of your life, constantly looking at other people that succeeded and being like, oh, well, they just got lucky. No, they didn't. Maybe there was a little bit luck, but it was also a lot of hard work, and you have the ability to put in that hard work. And they do not want to see you become jaded and the person that's off to the side thinking, what if? Because you deserve better than that. You deserve to succeed, and you have the natural talent. They see it within you. You have the ability to do it, but it requires the right mindset, and that part is on you. The mindset part is up to you. So the final card that we have here is number 13, the Illusion. And on this card, it's got like an arrow, or I don't know if that's a spear. Kind of looks like a harpoon, and a great white shark, and the number 13. So those could all be those could all be important to you somehow. If you start seeing like sharks everywhere, it could be a sign from this video, like a synchronicity about it. So, number 13, the illusion, Phantom Shark. In this card, we see a harpoon searching the sea for a dangerous shark that appears only in your mind's eye. Phantom Shark has a direct message for you today. Your current fear, worry, or insecurity is all an illusion. You tricked yourself into hunting for a thing that doesn't even exist. By putting so much attention and effort into combating or avoiding what you are afraid of, you are simultaneously engaging and feeling it. That's exactly what I mean by when your ego is trying to push you away from things. When you're listening to that fear, you're fueling it. You're giving it a reason to keep making you afraid because it's doing its job. It's protecting you. But you can't give in to it. You need to go against it, and that is what will make the fear weaker. Most fears quite literally exist only in our minds. When you feel small, insecure, or controlled by fear, this is not your true self. This is your programmed self ruled by the limbic system, ego, past traumas, and the false marketing that always shames us into not feeling good enough. This illusion will tell you that you are not worthy, make you feel scared, keep you with someone who treats you poorly, and make you feel the need to compete with and be better than others. The challenge lies in how powerfully real this illusion appears. It colors every aspect of your reality like a cloud of thick gray smoke. While you cannot always avoid being caught in the smoke, you can recognize when you are in it. This is the most important part of seeing clearly. You must first understand that you are in an illusion before you can escape it. The more you become cognitively aware of the smoke, the less power it has over you. Right now, Shark's medicine for you is to understand that whatever currently brings you fear is not actually the truth. You are safe and everything is going to work itself out. Do not make big decisions when the gray smoke is visiting. Soon you will see clearly. Which is exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. Don't listen to the fears. Don't listen to the ego. Cleanse your mind of that fear and give in to the hunger and the desire to go after what you want. Because if it fails, if it gets to a point where the universe is quite literally saying, like, do not go forward anymore, then you can throw your hands up and say, like, okay, I did all that I can. But if you hit a small little speed bump or you find a detour and you find yourself saying, well, it's just not meant to be, you need to ask yourself, is it really not meant to be? Or are you just afraid of continuing to keep going? Are you just afraid of hitting more speed bumps or more detours? If you really want something, recognize that it's up to you to make it happen. But it's also up to you whether you quit or not. Don't put it on the universe of, oh, well, I hit this speed bump, so therefore it's not meant to be. I think a reason that I was meant to recommend you The Alchemist book is that entire book is about a boy following his heart and following his purpose and following the path that the universe has laid out for him. But along the way, he hits so many roadblocks that would make the average person give up. But because he persevered, because he kept following his heart, eventually it led him to accomplishing what he set out to do. But even at the last moment, he was quite literally being beaten to a pulp. He was still following that desire, even though a part of him wanted to give up. But he didn't. And because he persevered, he won. Those who don't quit win. That is like my mantra, is like, those who don't quit win. Because you can't lose if you don't quit. Maybe it's stupid, maybe it's hard-headed, but I don't know. That's how you can accomplish things if you're really stubborn enough. So, pile 2, that is everything that I have for you. I really hope that you can follow your heart. I really hope that you can accomplish what it is that your heart wants you to accomplish. And really allow yourself to lean on this person. I think that they have a lot of wisdom to give you, and they really want to see you succeed. Not for their own personal benefit, but I think because truly they want to see you succeed because they care about you. And they see a version of themselves in you, and they wish that they could have done it. And I think that this person has a lot of knowledge of things not to do, of ways not to fail. So definitely allow yourself to be supported by them. But that is everything that I have. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. All right, pile 3. Last but certainly not least, if you chose the Tiger's Eye, then this is the reading for you. Now, something interesting I want to point out before we start the reading is you chose the Tiger's Eye, and you have the main card that you chose at the beginning without really knowing, because it was flipped upside down like this. Has a lion on it. So big cats could be an important sign for you, maybe a spirit animal of some kind, or maybe like an energy to emulate. So keep an eye out for that if that's like a synchronicity for you. But the way that we're doing this is we're looking at first, up here at the tarot cards, these are who are your biggest supporters. And all of the other piles, I got the strong distinction that these cards, who their supporters were people who are currently incarnated with them, people in the 3D, like actual other humans around them. But I think your biggest supporters are your spirit guides. And for some of you that might be like sad to hear, like, oh, but I was looking forward to hearing like who around me is actually physically supporting. But I think what they wanted you to hear in this pile, in this reading, is you need to lean more into your faith and your spirituality, because that is what's going to help you most in accomplishing what it is that you want. Because humans, they can give advice here and there, but if you don't really have anybody around you who's very strong in their faith, it's not going to help you with trying to accomplish what you're trying to do. Because what you're trying to do is something that goes against what people are used to. You're doing something that goes against what most people in society do. What I mean is like the passion or purpose that you're following or career that you're following is something that's divinely guided, and it's something that only you understand why you're doing it. Like anybody else would be like, what gave you the idea to go after this? Like they just wouldn't understand, like, or how do you still have the discipline to go after this? Like what are you seeing that is making you think that this is a good idea? But you can't really explain, like there are just synchronicities, there are things that feel right to you. And when there are people around you that don't really understand, they can make you doubt and second guess yourself. But the only quote unquote people or beings or whatever that truly will be able to support and understand you are your spirit guides. Because what you're doing is following a very non-traditional route that requires you to have a strong faith in the universe and a strong faith in you're going in the right direction, even when signs all around you are saying like, hey, maybe you're not, or people around you are like, what are you doing? They don't understand, because this is something that only you are meant to understand. And that, I think, is why you're getting the message that your spirit guides are your biggest supporters in this specifically. I think you still have people around you that love you and care about you and would support you in like emotional things or like with endeavors like trying to start a business or whatever. Like they could help you with that. But on the spiritual side of things and like having faith in what you're doing and having faith that you're going in the right direction, or truly believing it when you say everything happens for a reason, those biggest supporters are your spirit guides. Because I think at this current point in time, you don't have a ton of people around you that have the same beliefs as you and will necessarily understand why you're doing the things that you do. So I wanted to make that important distinction. I do think that you have people that love and support you and care about you around you, but they might not understand this path that you're going down, because this path is divinely guided, and it's one of those things that only you can really feel and see the full picture, and other people around you only see what you're currently going through and say like, I don't know where you're going, I don't know what you're trying to do, but good luck, I guess. Like they're trying to support you, but they don't see the full picture like you see it, if that makes sense. And the messages that I'm getting from this are, you have two main messages here. With the Three of Wands and the Cleanse card. When I look at the Three of Wands, I see this person on this hill who's looking towards the direction that they want to go, and they're actively moving towards it. If you look at the difference between the Two of Wands and the Three of Wands, the Two of Wands card is like this guy who's standing on the edge of his castle. Like he's still at home and his wand is kind of pinned down. Like he hasn't fully moved yet. He's just thinking about moving. But the Three of Wands is the act of like, I've left home behind. I'm currently on the journey. So I think you're already on the journey of where you're meant to be going. And with it being like kind of surrounded in this bright yellow light, this whole reading, I apologize, is going to be very woo-woo. If you're not super faithful or like into spirituality, you're going to be like, what is this woman talking about? So keep that in mind. As I go forward, I'm going to be talking about very spiritual things. If it doesn't really resonate with you, then maybe it's not the pile for you. But I wanted to put that out there right away. So when I'm looking at this Three of Wands card, I'm seeing this like bright light around this person, almost like a halo. And I'm really seeing that this person is being guided, even though they're standing on this hill alone. There's no one else around them. This light is like, I'm imagining it as like this universal energy that is constantly surrounding you and supporting you. Even though you can't see it, it's like you can feel it. You can feel it on your skin. You can feel it pushing you forward, almost as if like the wind, it was putting wind in your sails. And with the Cleanse card, you're being asked to cleanse yourself of any doubts, of any thoughts in your mind of like, what if it's not real? What if there are no spirit guides? What if I'm going in the wrong direction? Maybe I should just give up here. you're being asked to cleanse your mind of those thoughts, because those are not going to help you go in the direction that you want to go in. Even if you were going in a direction of like starting your own business, those kinds of thoughts wouldn't be helpful. They're especially not going to be helpful on this journey that you're going down. And you really need to recognize that only you are going to be able to fully understand it. There are going to be certain things where when you try to explain it to somebody else, you just try to make them get it, like they don't have the same experiences that you have with synchronicity or the feelings that you feel. And so they'll try to understand. They'll try to be open-minded. And maybe they'll be like, yeah, I'm glad you're feeling this way. I'm glad you're going after what you want. But they might not necessarily fully understand it. And sometimes it can be frustrating trying to, excuse me. Sometimes it can be frustrating trying to explain those things, especially things that mean so much to us and we feel so deeply, to somebody who just doesn't really get it, and then it's like we wasted our energy. And so you're not being asked to push people away, but you're being asked to cleanse any doubts from your mind and recognize that if people don't really understand it, it's okay. It's not meant for them to understand. It's meant for you. Their message is meant for you to push you forward, to put wind in your sails. And if you can't bring everybody along on that journey, if there are people that are going to hold you back or stop you from going after this thing, maybe say goodbye for a little bit. Not forever, and not cut them off in a mean way, but put distance between yourself and those who seek to bring you down or seek to, rather than support you, kind of like hold you back. And some of the people that do that, they aren't necessarily doing that because they don't want to see you succeed, but because they themselves think that, oh, they're going to fail, I need to help them. Keep in mind, nobody has the full picture. Those people don't have the full picture, just like you don't have the full picture. And if anybody tries to make you doubt this path that feels right to you, just put some distance between them. Don't let their opinion have more weight over your opinion. I wanted to direct you to, there's this guy called Leo Skeppy, and he has this podcast called Aware and Aggravated. And there's a specific episode that I think would really help you. He titled it something like How I Deal with Hate, or like holding space for multiple opinions. That was really, really helpful in helping me personally let go of having other people's opinions have like lots of weight to them, or like how to deal with the fear of judgment better. Like it'll really help you out, especially if that's something that you deal with. So I highly recommend that podcast episode. And then the next side of this that we have is the Five of Swords reversed, clarified by rejection. And I think that these two cards together are trying to tell you that along this path, it's not all going to be smooth sailing. You might think, like, let's say you're starting a journey to find some treasure, and you get on this boat and you think like, okay, this boat is going to bring me directly to my treasure, and you're feeling great, the wind is in your sails, and then the boat hits a rock. And suddenly you're like stranded on an island. And you're like, oh great, now the journey's over, I'm never going to reach my treasure. No, you need, even when what seems like a catastrophic failure happens to you and you're stuck on that island, keep in your mind that, you know what, this is happening for my highest good, this is happening for a reason. And then what you'll realize is, oh, there was actually a huge hurricane that was about to happen, and that would have like capsized your boat and killed you in the ocean. But since you were on land, you were able to survive it. And then eventually, like a week or two later, you get rescued from that, and then suddenly you're back on the journey and you realize, oh, I didn't have the full picture. To me, that seemed like a failure. It seemed like the end of my journey, but it was actually the universe protecting me. And so your spirit guides want you to keep in mind things that seem like rejections, things that seem like catastrophes or failures are actually happening for your benefit, so long as you continue to follow what your heart desires. I recommended this book in the last pile because I thought that they would fully really resonate with it. And I think that you would as well. It's called The Alchemist, and it's about this boy, Santiago, and his journey to finding his heart's desire. And along that journey, like how he maintained faith, hitting roadblock after roadblock. I think it's a really great book, and personally, I really loved it. It made me feel very confident in following what I felt like my purpose was and just maintaining my own faith. And so I recommend it to you because I think it could help you along your journey. And so the final card that we have here for you is number 24. It's in you, and this one is called the Not So Cowardly Lion. So this one says, In the story of The Wizard of Oz, the Cowardly Lion traveled the yellow brick road to get to the Emerald City to request what his heart most longed for: courage. Little did he know that during his entire frightening journey, he already possessed that which he sought so desperately, for in his heart there roared a courage that was always his to claim. The Cowardly Lion needed the outer journey to understand that what he most desired was always within. What you seek, you too have in you. Do not give up the journey. Persevere and endure the uncertainty. Remember that having courage does not mean you are fearless. It means you do the thing despite being scared. Cowardly Lion, who now has transformed into Confident Lion, shares his medicine with these questions. What if everything you've been searching for is not only right in front of you, but it is in you? What if everything you've been chasing outside of yourself was the part of you that you couldn't see within? What if you were looking in others to find the you that was screaming to be self-actualized? What if every beautiful quality you deeply want, you already possess? What if the sweep you off your feet love is your own love within reflected back to you? What if the gift you have been waiting to actualize was crying out, I'm right here, please, please, please see me? What if this whole entire time it was you that you were searching for? What if you chose you and stopped waiting for others to choose you? What if you stopped running towards external validation to prove your worth and instead went within and became yourself? So pile 3, that is everything that I have for you. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought you some clarity. I hope it brought you some comfort, and I hope you know that you are being divinely guided. You are so incredibly unconditionally loved by your guides, and they are guiding you to your highest good. Really keep faith in that. Even when it seems like you're hitting failures, remember that you don't know the full picture, and what's right in front of you isn't necessarily the full picture. So that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.